final 2 days here of the build. Oh, I need to go get myself a star tip from the office. I'm gonna try to finish putting this table together, which I was missing some hardware for the other day. And more or less, so we're set to do soft opening in 2 days, which means we have to get the mess out of here. We have to finish setting up this wall. 3 days. We have till Saturday. It's Wednesday now. And basically we have to just hook up all the rest of this equipment. Everything's mostly here, ready for its first bread delivery, but definitely a pretty big mess still to clean up. That'll work. So upon opening, the doors here primarily going to be using the retail section of the store, and then the kitchen will slowly activate as we get our bearings. So let's see how this will end up working here. So it doesn't quite nest all the way in there. It's a little too fat here on top. It kind of tapers and then has a thicker head. So I'm gonna get a better suited fastener and come back. I'd rather do this right than do it fast. Tomorrow is primarily my day here. So, in the meantime, can just make a good plan. I also need to get a bolt for these to bolt in. Needs to be the right size. So table won't be put together today as I was hoping, but ruled out one other fastener possibility. I thought for sure these were gonna work, and it turns out that's not the case. So either way, so close on this Tempe project. It's been a really smooth build out overall. All this millwork's in now, so you can have a beautiful pastry case. It will be backlit too, so that's exciting. The retail area here is gonna get finished tomorrow actually, so more paneling on this wall where it makes sense. All this is gonna get tucked in. The boxes will disappear. The chairs will come out of the boxes. And so we'll have a really nice overall location here. Comfortably, you can seat probably about 13 people in this area. And if you squeeze, you could probably get another 4 humans in between. So a decent amount of seating compared to what was here before. The previous concept only had like 4 chairs. We built these metro racks in here, so this back area has minimal setup to be successful. Ice machine is hooked up, oven's good to go. So this area just needs to be sort of reset. We had to put some more FRP, and we reoriented the 3-compartment sink here, gave ourselves more space. We can hang shelves here for drying right above if we want. Makes it a little easier. We can also spray off more easily with a pre-rinse faucet once we switch that out. A little bit better than nesting it under the cabinets there. And the rest of this will just kind of come together over time. We'll have the base front functional for what it needs to be, and then the back will sort of come together over the course of the next couple months. This location is going to end up consolidating some of the work that you've been watching me do on camera lately, eventually. So eventually this will be our R&D space. We're gonna start with this being our R&D space for value-added items. So, things that go in addition to our core baking products. Sauces, salads, maybe sandwiches, coffee drinks, things that complement our pastry program. So like, if we were to add a topping to a pastry, we'd probably make it here. All the prep work that's currently done at Litchfield Park is gonna migrate here to this more central location with more space here. And then eventually, early next year, we'll introduce some of our smaller baking equipment in this back space. That'll give us a full R&D setup here, so that if we're working on a new product, it can be done sort of in peace in a smaller setting and kind of away from the noise of the big production space, which, as you can see even on these videos, there's a lot going on, and I'm just kind of carving out a little bit of real estate where a lot of other stuff's going on, kind of unrelated. It's fun working in that environment, but I think having a more focused environment here for R&D will be better. I intend to set this backspace up like a legitimate micro bakery like you might find in a home. And the concept there is, hopefully with all these hotels next door, we could even host some like long getaway weekends for cottage bakers and help sort of refine skill sets. That goes hand in hand with what we're doing with Million Dollar Baker online. Of course, you don't have to wait to come here to do that kind of thing. You could, jump online and get our tips, tricks, and lessons all the way from the garage era forward. You can even see footage from the garage era embedded in that program. But hopefully one day we'll have kind of hands-on experiences here in a relatable way. So the equipment here will be sized for a typical cottage baker. Like, imagine with everything we know now and everything we have now, if we kind of went in hindsight and set up a micro bakery to be efficient rather than starting from like hand mixing. We start with the right size mixer, start with a proper sheeter, start with a proofer. What would that all look like put together? That's what I hope this space can double as, in addition to being an R&D and prep kitchen for us. So really strategic space for us with a lot of different uses. Of course, this front's gonna have this full coffee bar, beautiful shelf for bread. We'll hang some menu boards up there. I replaced the lighting up here. It's this nicer lighting that matches our bakery motif. And this shelf will have a record player, games, books, kind of similar to what we did in our downtown Phoenix store. So the people who come in as guests can come in and enjoy themselves for a brief getaway from their day, play a game, read a book, listen to a record, eat some pastries or pizza or bread, and have a good time. So I can't wait. This is going to be a sweet location. It's in a nice urban district that is going through a pretty big set of changes right now. It's interesting to see what will happen here over the next year. There's been years of construction on Mill, which construction on a street like this can be really detrimental to the businesses that work it. We know that firsthand from downtown Mesa, where right before we opened up, the light rail construction was going on and the street more or less emptied. It seems like this is a bit of a round two here. It's not empty, but there are a lot of vacancies compared to normal, and a lot of new blood is moving in with new ideas. So we'll see kind of what kind of neighbors we end up with over time, but so far the pop-ups here in Tempe have been going very well, and we're eager to open up the doors and put this one into motion in what seems like just a couple days now, literally. Hard to imagine that we'll clean this all up in a few days, but the last bit goes as it needs to. I mean, we'll be here as long as we need to the next 3 or 4 days to clean things up and get things ready. And soft opening means we have a week or so before the big grand opening celebration to iron out the kinks, get kind of the finishing touches on the space. Whether it be like put plants in the space, decorate, get the photography up that we're going to hang. So exciting things for the next week or so here, and the next time probably we shoot here, it will look wildly different yet again. This video alone will save you tens of thousands of dollars. We're gonna talk a little bit about bakery layout, maximizing the holidays. Refrigeration is also extraordinarily expensive. What's gonna happen when you're done with your mix? Task switching is an efficiency killer, and organization is critical in all of this. We borrowed around $800,000. If we don't honor those commitments to these banking relationships, we have everything on the line. Our house, our bakery equipment. It's one thing to use other people's money to grow. It's another thing to use other people's money to survive. Why would you take the risk to build, say, $1 million bakery if you don't have $1 million of sales to support it? There is a much higher chance of failure because you have to pay the bills for that space. How do you transfer those sales logically into your production system so that your teams can be organized, that you can buy the right amount of ingredients, perhaps a week before that order is placed? The more you leave up to chance, the harder it is to ever really get it right. I wish that it was only flour that I had to deal with. We store 280 different SKUs of items. Cleaner supply that we need for washing the floor. Maybe it's barrels of olives. As you scale, you need space to accommodate every single thing that you buy on a recurring basis. There's nothing worse than going through an entire build-out process, spending every last dollar that you have, or worse, that you borrowed in order to build out, only to learn that there's this extra $20,000 you have to spend here, or this extra $10,000 that you have to spend there. What I'm trying to do is point out the things that tripped me up in building my bakeries in hopes of saving you the headache of learning these things in the midst of construction and the actual money that you could save by knowing this up front. There's disruptions in business. There's things that will knock you out. If you're building a business that's completely dependent on you, what are you going to do in those moments? Is it just simply shut down? That isn't a viable answer. You should know what your goal is. For us, we're trying to build something that's still going to be around decades from now. Proof has always been about community, grit, and an unwavering belief in doing meaningful work. We continue to receive messages from people around the world who had been following our YouTube channel and starting their own bakery businesses. To date, we've heard of around 500 startup operations getting off the ground, inspired by our story.
Why are we doing this in the first place? The joy of baking, the joy of acquiring new skills, the joy of just growing in general.
Every role matters. Skill-based roles can make or break everything that happens after the mix. This is a journey, not a final result. Get processes that are time-sensitive started. The skill required to handle ambient bread is higher. Ornamental scoring is going to be next to impossible. Your role in running your business is to keep things in balance. Never putting yourself in a position where one account has so much of your operational bandwidth attached to it. The problem is, proofers cost a lot of money for a very little amount of space, $35,000. Valentine's Day this year was on a Friday. It turned out to be our 6th best ever day. In 1 week, we do more than we did in the entire year 2017. Try to combine your data sources and build good reporting for yourself. Have the right people in the right seats. If you don't, make sure you're not just offering blind grace and expecting different results.
We'll train our physical skills. We'll train other things. Mental skills are no different. We just have to practice it.
Checking equipment as you go is important. Keep the space clear and organized. And hopefully some of the insights will help you avoid some of the traps that we have fallen into. Don't neglect this. Plan, plan, plan. And best of luck to you.